So you want to become a much better and more interesting rhythm player? Well, sometimes it helps to think and learn like a lead player first, and I'm going to explain how, but first this. So what you saw me doing in the intro there was mixing a little bit of leads and adding notes to chords that I found not by knowing a library of chords, but by knowing the scale and that position for what key I've decided to play the song in. So you can learn a whole library of chords, this massive, massive chart of chords, and it could take forever to learn. It's almost like learning all the Chinese characters. Or like learning an alphabet and learning to put words together, you can learn the scales in each position, and then when you're playing chords there, you know every note that's available to you. Let me show you what I mean. So in this example that we did in the beginning with this E minor 7 chord, we added our pinky, and then I started moving around. What I was doing is I just had this one chord that I know, E minor 7, and I did all this other stuff that I don't even know the names of unless I stop and analyze it, because I know my E minor scale here, or a version of it, which is just this. And so every one of those notes in that scale when I'm playing as a lead player is available to me when I'm playing any variation of this E chord. I have this note here that you saw me use. If I'm going to use these notes, I can put that down maybe with my pinky. I added this note here. It makes for some beautiful chord voicings. Then you saw me put my thumb down because I knew that B and C, if I'm in the key of E minor, are available too. So I'm just playing all the notes in that scale, in that area, and building chords out of it instead of thinking about this giant library of chords. This works quite well with basic open chords as well. If we look at the key of C major, our very first key, no sharps, no flats, all of the open strings work in that key because there's no sharps or flats among them. And if you look, you have E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, or you can play the B here, C, D, E, F, G. So if you remember those notes as a scale, which is much easier than remembering a million different chords, I can take something like this G chord, and I have this note, that's C, this A is available. Add them both. As I move around, so you can see that I'm just adding and subtracting notes to chords based on knowing the scale in the area rather than knowing all those chords. This can work really well in a hard rock metal context. If you take basic power chords, let's say we go back to the key of G major, which is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And I'm just going to play these three chords, E, power chords, D, and C. And just by changing the notes on the D string, knowing my scale on one string, which is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. So again, as I keep hammering the point home, you don't need to know the names of all those chords, you just know the scale that you're playing in and can add and subtract notes and make everything more interesting. And so then for some of you, the question is going to be, how do I go about learning those scales? And really what it's about is learning the modes, learning the basic major scale and the 7 other positions, modes that you can learn off of it. And so instead of learning thousands of chords, which you can go about doing anyway because it's cool to know the names of them, but if you want to get playing musically first, you can learn these scales and modes, and I have a whole series on that. I'll link that up here, and that'll get you started on the journey. It's very simple. I do it through pattern recognition rather than having to memorize a bunch of stuff, so you can get using it quicker before you get into all the theory and the logic of it. So again, learn your scales, apply that to your rhythm playing, and see where it leads you. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And until next time, guys, keep making great music. Hey friends, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It makes the whole world better.